welcome to the IDP Hunter podcast. What's going on, Jamie?
Oh, I want to introduce another special guest this week from the Fantasy Football Universe and Adjust the Ranks podcast, all the way from the smoky parts of Amsterdam. This man has been playing fantasy football over 20 years, grinding film, tweaking projections, crushing the ADP before we even set our lineups. He's one of the key contributors and co-founders of the FF Universe, an expert in redraft, dynasty, best ball, IDP formats, you name it. You've seen his rankings on Fantasy Pros. You've heard his takes, and now you're about to get the full experience. Let's give it up for the man himself, Jeremy Shulman. What's up, brother?
What is up, Jamie? What's up, Steve? Thank you so much. Let's give it up for the intro. Really appreciate that, Jamie. Yeah, man, listen, we're over here in Amsterdam. It's 10 p.m. right now, so barely staying awake because I'm an old man, as you referenced in the intro, over 20 years playing this game, but I'm sick for it, as I know you guys are. We're just a bunch of sickos here, love talking ball, so thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it.
Jamie referenced it in the intro. We're doing rankings for Fantasy Pros, contribute over there sometimes. But basically, this is kind of what we're trying to push as much as possible. We're over on YouTube, as you have it pulled up here. TikTok is the one that we're really trying to push. I said it earlier, as Jamie calls it, the teenage girls platform. But look, you gotta try and make the money where the money is. So we're just trying to get out to the people and really. My whole point is, I know I talk a lot about money. I talk a lot about it as a business with everyone, with all my guys. And that's really just because I want this sick love of mine to become something I can do all the time. So absolutely love it. And, again, appreciate you having me on and ready to talk some ball.
Yeah, and I love your podcast. Like, I'm always in the chat. I never miss it.
We appreciate you, man.
The chat's so fun, dude, because basically you could just say anything and you guys just laugh about it.
That's it, bro. Listen, we don't take ourselves too seriously, but we try to take this game very seriously because if you're not taking it seriously, you don't play. If you're not playing to win, you know why you're playing at all.
Ain't that the truth?
So do you want to hop right into it? Anything else going on, Steve? I know you're one of the top IDP rankers. We got to tell that audience.
Yeah, I'm a top four. We got a competition going on right now. I'm also an ECR's IDP ranker. Let's talk about Jeremy. We got so much borrowed time right now, and we got Jeremy here on the show, my friend. I want to hear you guys' takes. We already got people in the chat asking this question about IDP. We're gonna hold IDP for 1 second because I want to see what these guys have to say about the leaders of the team, the quarterbacks.
All right, yeah, I'm going to go with some streamers that I picked out. And first, you got to go JJ McCarthy. He's back. He's looking sharp. I know he had 143 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 on the ground. He's having some rookie mistakes, but he's showing clear progress. And now he gets the Ravens defense, giving up 20-plus points to quarterbacks. And he's got a soft stretch ahead of him. So you can stream him now and stash him for later. Sam Darnold's another one. Hopefully you listened last week. Stream Sam Darnold because the dude cooked. He quietly averaging 270 yards, 2 touchdowns a game since week 2. So now he gets the Arizona defense. And I don't think you could go wrong with Sam Darnold. And then Michael Penix, if you have to. I know over the last 4, he's averaging 250 plus. Nearly 2 scores a game. Now he gets the Colts. They've actually been quietly torched by just about everyone. So another soft matchup. You can stream him. Aaron Rodgers. I know he had a little down week, but I kind of blame the Steelers defense on that because they played very well that game. They didn't need Rodgers to do much. 203 yards and a touchdown. He's still that low upside, safe floor quarterback. And then Marcus Mariota. Jane Daniels is out. I know it's sad, but Mariota stepped up. He's averaging 16 points with that rushing upside. He gets the Lions defense, giving up about 18 a game plus. I think it's an indoor game also. Solid matchup, solid floor. Mariota's a smart Week 10 streamer. So question for Jeremy, am I missing anyone off this list? And who's your favorite streamer for the quarterback?
Yeah, I don't think you're missing anybody off the list, but look, I think it's ugly, but we have to mention Tua Tagovailoa going against those Buffalo Bills. I mean, the Bills looked really good, but against a dysfunctional passing offense last week. So, this is also a dysfunctional passing offense, but at the same time, the Buffalo Bills are struggling to cover people, especially on the outside. So, but no, I really like Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is an excellent play. Also, Rashid Shaheed is coming in there. So we know that that's going to attempt to open up the offense. Whether that happens in his first week or not, we don't know. But you did mention, Marcus Mariota against Detroit. Maybe this kind of speaks to Steve's world here, but I know Detroit's been incredibly banged up in that secondary. A couple weeks ago, not only was everybody hurt, but Branch was suspended. He came back, but they're still not able to cover anybody, even when the starters are healthy over there. So, I like some of those names that you mentioned, and I think some of those streamers are great. And who was the first one? Oh, was it JJ?
JJ McCarthy, yeah.
JJ McCarthy's really interesting because he plays Baltimore, and I know Baltimore's been giving it up, but they were so unhealthy at the beginning of the season. They're starting to put it together. I mean, Roquan Smith, obviously, Kyle Hamilton back healthy. The defense is just looking better every single week, and I'm not saying they're great. And of course, these offenses have to keep up with Lamar when they're cooking, as they were last week. But the defense has put it together a little bit. So I'm kind of fading McCarthy a little bit this week. But all those other guys, I'm totally with you.
Okay, and another one, not a streamer because he's on bye this week, but are you willing to pick up Flacco? Because I looked into it, and Flacco, since he was on the Bengals, he's scoring about, 25 points a game? And to put that in context, Lamar is the number one scorer, putting up 22 points a game. So Flacco's outscoring Lamar Jackson. And he's got Pittsburgh coming off bye in week 11.
Yeah.
So is he a stash for you if you need someone next week?
No, it's Joe Flacco and Jacoby Brissett. These are two guys that, in dynasty leagues, I have far too much Flacco and Brissett because if you get them at the right time, they're essentially free. Trying to get a second for these guys, of course, in stingy dynasty leagues where nobody wants to pay up. But I was looking into this myself because of that. Over the last 3 weeks, both of those guys have been quarterback ones every single week. So really, you're trying to go out and acquire a quarterback one, unless they're up against a terrible matchup, which, Pittsburgh has been middle of the road. Again, that's another defense getting better, but not good. I think Flacco is a great stash, and I'd want him over most of those guys that you mentioned, maybe except for Darnold.
Awesome. So, Steve, what do you got for your IDP? What are you starting with, DLs?
Yeah, we're going to start with defensive linemen, and it's tough, guys, to find an elite defensive lineman, in these leagues, especially this late in the season. So defensive twos now, you can go deep on those guys. I think, Jeremy, we did the math over at the Fancy Six Pack. A defensive lineman 2 in a league, any kind of league format, from defensive lineman 2 to 50, average points a game is 4 points. So you can totally stream those guys a week. So, I won't waste the podcast. You guys want to go back and look. I have several DL2 stashes, names like Jacob Martin, who are just coming into play because of injury. Jacob Martin's a popular one. But if you're looking for that DL1 stream, it's going to get tricky, Jamie. So going to kind of rack my brain here. We mentioned Alex Highsmith week 2 ago. If you don't got him, you're probably screwed right now. But 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Check your waiver wire to see if he's out there. We mentioned, what did we mention? Chase Young a few episodes ago. No, last episode, didn't we? Chase Young's a popular name. Just on the schedule he has coming up, Chase Young's a hot topic. Listen to some of these games he's got coming up. He's got the Panthers. Then he's got a bye week. Then he's got the Falcons, Miami. Tampa Bay hasn't been that great between the tackles. And in Carolina again, followed by the Jets. That's one right there. The team switched to a 3-4 this year. That's one right there that I'm kind of interested in. But these are kind of repeats. I got one new name for you guys because I'm trying to think. Regardless of the format, this is a DL2 streamer that might actually play out as a DL1 the next couple weeks. We got Joey Bosa. He's not owned many places, 22% of leagues? Listen to this matchups he has coming up. Joey Bosa is playing the Dolphins, Tampa Bay, Houston Texans, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, New England, Cleveland, the Eagles. Finishes out the year with the Jets. I mean, I love all of that. Yeah, Jeremy's shaking his head. He knows what I'm talking about. I love all of that. Sign me up for all of that. And last but not least, the Seahawks traded Draymond Jones to the Ravens. That just happened. There was a lot of trades. I mean, holy cow, I'm still trying to wrap.
It was crazy.
It was a crazy week. The one that's kind of going under the radar is Draymond Jones. He's in the middle of a 4-game, 4-sack performance. He's going to a Ravens team that all he needs is a little bit of snaps. So those are my guys right there, Jamie. I don't have much this week. I'm kind of more interested in how you guys view the offense, so I'll kick it right back to you, okay?
Can I just pick your brain? I got to pick your brain because I'm in a couple of IDP leagues here, and I saved this for the show, and I went a little deep because I'm in a few deep leagues. So I got 2 names for you. Curious if the performance will keep up and what you think. The first one is Tershawn Wharton of the Panthers. Had a good game last week. Wondering how he's going to do. And then this guy I really like, and I have him stashed in a few leagues. Is if I'm pronouncing it right, Moro Ajomo of the Eagles. Put together a couple of good performances, had the bye, so I'm hoping that continues outside of the bye. What do you think of those guys in deeper leagues for defensive line?
So Moro, I like. He's a defensive tackle. I had him in like my top 15 because I play in a lot of like MFL's crazy. I play in a lot of 2 defensive tackle start leagues. I've had him. The only issue I have with him, the Eagles do a rotation on their defensive line.
Yes,
that's why I didn't say
always.
Jalen Phillips. That's another good trade. It's a healthy rotation. They're all getting snaps, but Moro. I had Moro early in the year, and it was Jordan Davis all of a sudden, and everybody likes Jalen Carter. So that's the only thing. Depending on the size of your league, that's a guy I'd play. Now, the name you said is funny. That was my last year sleeper, Wharton. I play him in my 32s. I play him in my 20. That's a sneaky guy that's always getting play. And then another thing, guys, I'll tell you, defensive tackle, I tend to punt sometimes along with free safeties. Depending on the context of your league, and you hear this all the time, it sounds cliche, it's all about the scoring. Look for tackles for loss. People don't look at that. They look at sacks, look at tackles. If you're getting more than the standard's two points tackle for loss, let's say you're getting 4 points of tackle for loss. I'm in some crazy leagues like that. That's when I'm playing guys like Moro. I'm playing guys like Payne, Jonathan Allen, the Hargraves. I want those guys that are going to penetrate and get there. But, yeah, I love both of those guys as a prospect. Wharton, I am playing in several places. So those are excellent, excellent questions right there. Cool. I love all those questions. Keep them coming, guys. We have a lot.
I got some more.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm good. I'm good on D-line, but I had to study up to be in the IDP league.
Yeah, I see a bunch of questions in the chat. We'll get to each of them during our segments. Like there's a linebacker one that's going to be next for Steve. DBs, we'll hit them all. Tight ends. But we're going to hit running backs right now. Streaming running backs isn't really a good idea with the scarcity of the position, but if you absolutely need a fill-in, then you got to try to find someone that has like that touchdown opportunity. Right now, I'm looking at Devin Singletary with Cam Scatterbo out. Like Devin Singletary, he did take that lead role in that Giants backfield. He out-touched and out-snapped Tyrone Tracy. Plus, he got 2 catches, total 51 yards on 10 touches. And despite a tough game script against the Bears, Singletary looked like a solid RB3 option for fantasy. So if he's out there, you can grab him. And Blake Corum, good stash. One of the few true handcuffs in this league where you can actually trust. He's been involved all season. Ran 13 times for 58 yards last week. But Kyron, I think he's still the lead back. Corum is just one of those top tier insurance plays in fantasy. You want to grab now before it's too late. Another one, Tyler Algier. He continues to fly under the radar, rostered in less than half the leagues. Another true handcuff you can trust. He's a solid pickup, especially if Bijan misses any time. Get him now before it happens. The Falcons, the run heavy, and it sets them up for that upside, and it's worth a roster in all formats. Then Tank Bigsby could start for the Eagles if Saquon Barkley can't go. He's dealing with some kind of a groin injury. I know they're coming off of a bye. I do expect Barkley to play off this bye, but the Packers, their matchup looks tough, but they've shown vulnerability, giving up 130 some yards, 2 touchdowns to Rico Dotto last week. So Bigsby, if he starts, he's worth a look too. Brayshaw Tootin, I know I've mentioned this guy multiple times on this podcast. He found the end zone for the second time this season. And let's be real, man. Travis Etienne is still the Jags guy, but Etienne, 22 carries to Tootin's 9. So Tootin's still getting played, and his upside is real. So injury insurance or like a bigger role down the stretch can be something in Tootin's wheelhouse. So if you're looking for like a streaming instead of stashes, try going after someone with that touchdown upside, like a Tootin, Algier, Corum type player. So Jeremy, what do you think? Am I missing someone? Is there any other stashes that you have on your radar?
I love these guys, but I kind of got to give you a little bit of crap here because Kyle Monungai here is limited. He was limited today with a quad injury. DeAndre Swift didn't play last week. You know who else was limited in practicing? Roschon Johnson. I mean, it's just worth keeping your eye out on the practice reports for the Bears to see what's going on with that backfield, because if Swift sits again, if Monungai can't go or is limited, it could be Roschon Johnson. So I know.
There's a guy named Travis Homer, isn't it? Is he still on the Bears?
God, it could be Caleb dropping back 70 times. We'll see. But in that same game, right? I believe they're playing the Giants. I mean, you mentioned Devin Singletary. I have him ranked above Tyrone Tracy. It just doesn't seem, for whatever reason, since the beginning of this season, that they trust Tyrone Tracy. I know he got injured in the middle there, but they were giving everything to Cam. Cam has proven that he was the superior back, but now you're going to Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary is not the superior back, but there's something going on with Tyrone Tracy. It's probably the fumbles. But for me, I mean, they clearly don't trust the guy. So you got to go Devin Singletary there. Tank Bigsby, we don't know what's going on with the Eagles. The Eagles are so bad for how good the Eagles are. So it's really upsetting to see, that if Saquon's down, Tank Bigsby getting the run, but also, AJ Dillon is an option. I just don't know if they're going to give everything to Bigsby like they did in a pinch the last time they were on the field. Because I just don't feel like I can trust any of it. But if I have to choose, I absolutely agree with Bigsby. But yeah, Brayshaw Tootin, this is another one I can't trust, although I want to. Like, my ears perk up because I love this guy. LaQuint Allen, I think, at 22 snaps last week. They keep putting him on the field, and they're giving, like you said, all of it to Etienne. I want to see more Tootin. Hopefully we see more Tootin, but this is like the plague of the rookie running back this year. It's like, get these guys on the field, let them touch the ball, and the coaches don't want to do it.
Yeah. So with the Giants, I just think that means it's going to be more designed runs for Jackson Dart going forward.
Yeah, fair.
And I love me some Jackson Dart.
Oh yeah,
everyone knows that. So yeah, that breaks down our running back stashes and streamers. Steve, are you moving on to linebacker?
I want to know how these players move and how they scheme and what they think. Jeremy, I'm showing my age now. There used to be this game called electronic football. It was a board game. You'd set it up and you'd have all your players strategically, and you just turn on and they do what the hell they want to do.
Sir.
That's life.
Yeah.
That's life right now. This time of year, linebackers loaded. I mean, we can go deep, deep, deep. How deep do you guys want to go? I'll start with two players the Panthers have, and I think that's a question we have in here. There's two linebackers they have, and they're both flex plays every week. But right now, they're putting up solid LB2 numbers. We'll go with Trevin Wallace first. That's your green dot, 97% of snaps. He's very under-owned in a lot of places, but 16 tackles and a sack over the last 2 games. But that's not the one I actually want. I want Christian Rosenboom. A lot of places that I play, people dropped Rosenboom because, one, his metrics aren't good, and 2, he lost the green dot to Trevor Wallace. Well, guess what? Metrics or not, volume is king in IDP, right? This guy's getting ran on. He's only playing 76%, which is, decent. So what? He's like a 2.5 down player, but he's racked up 15 tackles over that 2-game span. And he had a 15 tackle game. He had 27 tackles or 2-game span and forced the fumble. So both of those guys are flex options to me every week. You can get either one of those guys and plug them in, especially if you're having a bye week issue. Another one that I like with the Vikings, his name is Eric Wilson. People incorrectly thought Ivan Pace was the next thing. Well, you know how the NFL treats undrafted free agents. You know what I mean? They just punt them away. I've been in some IDP, like king of IDP kind kind of leagues, my Kings Classic at the Expo, people drop Eric Wilson. I'm like, why? What are you guys doing? He last 3 games, 84% of snaps, 82% of snaps, 88% of snaps, and that's after Cashman came back. Before that, he was logging 100% snaps. That's a player you can get. You can get him super deep that people don't think about. I'm not going to mention the Bethunes, the Carters. We've been talking to those guys for weeks now. I will hone it in a little bit on 2 new players for you. The Commanders got a guy named Jordan McGee. Okay, he was the LB3 last week. He was logging a little bit of snaps. Well, he just got promoted LB2. This is kind of under the radar. A lot of people aren't talking about this, maybe because the game just happened. But Frankie Lavu got himself suspended for a game. Why? Because he keeps doing that stupid hip drop tackle. He was warned about that 3 times this year. So now they're going to take a game out of him. So if you guys need a free linebacker, this is the guy this week. And I'll throw one more at you. This is all assuming the injury report. And it's so hard with these this time of year. It's so hard. Not this time of year, this time of week. We're waiting until that Thursday to see what's going on. But the Giants have a guy. Here's my sleeper. Demetrius Flanagan Fowles. Fowles. I'm spelling it for you guys. He's a linebacker logging 70% of snaps. Masu got hurt. Why is he important? Well, 2 reasons. 15.2% tackle efficiency. That's stuff I look at. The tackle efficiency, if he gets more volume, he'll get play. Sleeper has this guy as a DB. LB/DB. Don't you love those hybrids, guys? Those are the players that I like to put in as a little cheat code, especially in those tackle-heavy kind of leagues that we play in. So those are kind of my names this week I'm thinking about. I'm kicking around. Like I said, there's so many players that I can just plug and play. I'm looking in the chat. I know there was a couple answers for us, but any questions, guys? Any thoughts?
My question was about Eric Wilson. I heard you guys talking about it last week, and I was really curious about that. And I have a question about Logan Wilson as well. But Eric Wilson, like you said, we expected once Cashman came back that was going to evaporate, but it was Pace that evaporated. Is that sticky? Like, is Pace going to come back in at some point and retrieve any of these stats? I know Wilson's the vet, but it seems like he is competing with and even like out producing from a fantasy perspective, Cashman. Can we rely on that, or is Pace going to sneak back in at some point?
So the key there is, can we rely on it? What can we rely on? Death and taxes. That's about it. Can we rely on it? This guy's been solid, though, but I do worry. I have hesitation what you say, because he is a journeyman after all. You know what I mean? Yep. But if you look at the numbers the way it is, they like him. They don't like Pace. You know what kills me about Pace? They're very few. I love stacking and building offenses. I'll run a skeleton crew on defense. Very few defensive players I'll stuff in my taxi squads. Pace is one of those guys. Nick Herbig's one of those guys. There's always those potential guys that will pop off that we have to hold. I've been holding on to Ivan Pace, for that one glorious game when he has it. So I'm like you. I'm in the same boat as you. I don't know if I'm qualified to answer it, but I'm giving you my best shot. Yeah. Pace, for some reason, they don't want to play the guy. I'll hold him if I have a spot. If not, I know Wilson is a comfortable flex. And these stats every week, he's a healthy floor is 4 to 6 games. I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. You know what I'm not okay with? I missed 2 other flexes for you guys. The Seahawks, if Ernest Jones is down, they have Drake Thomas. I talked about him a couple weeks ago. But we also have Tyrese Knight in play again. So look for that one, depending how deep your leagues are in. Am I chasing him? No, but he produces in a pinch. He did last year for us. And that's part of one of the questions we have. Should I drop Bernard for any of Logan Wilson or Drake Thomas? That's a tricky question, Fantasy Sports. That really is. Just like I just talked to Jeremy, I'm old school. 1 in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. I know what Bernard is at this point. I have him favored, ranked. I got him as a 24th linebacker this week. I got Drake Thomas as 26th. So Drake Thomas's position and, Knight, for that matter, it all predicates on whether or not Ernest Jones is in. Bernard has a role. For whatever reason, they run around him, what have you, but I'd rather take my chances. And maybe that's my own demise, but that's my strategy. I'd rather take my chances with the guy I know is getting 100% than the guy in the bushes that I'm not sure what he's going to have. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes Jamie's laughing at me.
No, it's that comment I just put in.
My old people thoughts here.
And then I think is.
I'm trying to keep up with.
I don't know if you saw that comment I just dropped, but that's what I'm laughing at.
Oh no, I didn't see it. I've been kind of like trying to keep up with all the comments. We had another one here. Where the heck? What did it go? Okay, here it is. Should I drop Parsons? No, should I trade Mike Parsons for 2 firsts? And then the second half was a waiver drop for Pete Werner. I guess he's asking if I should pick up Pete Werner or whatever. Pete Werner is a solid drop to me right now. If you look at each week, and I know that's kind of controversial because earlier in the year he was an every down player. Here, I'll pull it up really quick just to paint just to illustrate the picture. But Pete Werner earlier this year, he was getting every down play. If you look at what he's getting right now, it's virtually nothing. It's virtually scraps. It's so 91, 89, 79 start the season. The last couple weeks. After week 6 now, 59%, 54%, 41, 48. He's going down in value. Now, people are saying, what about Danny Stutson? I won't take Danny Stutson yet either because he's not getting the volume. I know he had a great game. Until I see it, I mean, my metrics are pretty hard on linebackers. I want at least an every down roll, 75, 80% until I start, putting them in my waiver article or start investigating that. So right now, neither one is valuable to me. And they're going to stay dropped. Again, if you're in a 64-team league, I got one of those in MFL, you're going to take anything you can. Yeah, these guys in England, they're insane. They have tiers like soccer it's something, but we have duplicates. But if you're in a league like that, then probably that's the only exception. Even there, I'm still looking at guys over 80%. Second half of this question, and I'll get off the mic here. Should I trade Parsons for 2 firsts? It's spicy. I'm going to always tell you yes, and I'm an IDP guy. In Dynasty, my game is always getting more picks. Jamie does it all the time. Get more picks, roll back. Get more picks, roll back. I will build off of the first. And, with one of those picks, who's to say you don't get the top DL for the year, With IDP, it's so situational. It's so tricky. I'd rather get off these players. So I would do a first-round pick for pretty much anybody. Heck, I might even consider seconds depending on the size of my league. But, yes, I would do that trade with no context. I'd have to see what you got. Now, of course, Jeremy, if it's a 32-team league, that first rounder is going to be like a 4th-round pick? I'm not going to do it. But context matters. But, yeah, for the answer to your question, sure, I'll take that trade. No context. And, no, I'm not picking up Pete Werner.
On Werner and the Saints, I was looking this up because I have Stutzman stashed on Taxi. I was wondering if I should take him off. 28% of snaps, just like you said, and 8 tackles. Absolute ridiculous game. So I'm a little concerned about that. So I'm leaving him on Taxi for now, but I'm hoping that's a sign of things to come. But the other thing that I'm curious here is speaking of 2 guys who are in the red, I think they're out of the pink and they're in the red, is Kenneth Murray, right? And you got Denzel Perryman. What are we thinking about these guys? Because, obviously got Logan Wilson coming into town. I'm a little concerned about Murray, even though, I think Murray will be on the field. But Denzel Perryman isn't producing. Like, what's going on with these 2 guys? What do you expect from them for the rest of the season?
So people are high in Perryman right now. And they were high in Troy Dye, and it's a rotational thing. And Henley appears and reappears like a magician every week. Yeah, I would take my chances with Henley, and those 2 will have up and down weeks. But again, that's probably controversial. People will play those. Don't get me wrong. But I have not picked up any play for those guys at all. Now, to answer the other part of your question, Murray, I've been trying to figure out the Dallas Cowboys linebacker squad. I've been trying to figure that out all year. The only reason Murray still has a little bit of value is because of that contract he signed, that 2 years, $15.5 million. So he's going to get a little bit of run. But yeah, Logan's coming. He's taking that job. I can see Logan, and I can see a healthy Overshown with Shamir James in the wings and the other 2 getting gone. That's how I see it. It makes sense to me that Jerry wants to build that defense. And let's face it, it's not like Murray's been great. That's his profile. He'll get you garbage points, but he looks terrible on the field. So yeah, Murray's time is coming. I would, and that's what I wrote in the Every Down linebacker article. I'd look to trade off him, get off him while he still has run. I think we got a couple more games with him right now in redraft only because of that contract he signed. So, but yeah, Logan Wilson, he's there for a reason. Overshown's the future, and James. So those are my guys there. Jamie, you got a ton of offensive questions. I'm trying to keep up.
Well, I see right now, we already talked quarterback and running back. Right now, I see one that says Trey Benson's upside once he's activated, top 20. Yes. So I would put him in that top like 17 to 20 area with Woody Marks, like DeAndre Swift, Travis Etienne type players. What about you, Jeremy? Like, are you putting him with like the J.K. Dobbins, Montgomery's, Kenneth Walker?
Yeah, he looked fantastic. In the preseason, he was being talked up all offseason. Even James Conner was saying he's the RB1B. And then, of course, Conner goes down. We were all ready for Trey Benson's season, and then he, hits IR. I don't know when he's coming back. That's the case with a lot of these running backs on IR. It's Hampton, it's Benson. When are they coming back? But Benson seems to be, Bucky's another one. Benson seems to be a guy who's probably back by week 11, 12.
I was thinking 12, yeah.
Yeah.
They dropped Michael Carter, and they picked him back up. So
if he's healthy and playing, he's for sure top 20. So if he's on your waiver wire, I'm absolutely grabbing him.
If I see it again, I'll hit it. But let's rock the wide receivers.
Let's do it.
All right. So Alec Pierce, baby. You need to get this guy on your waiver radar right now. You might be asking, well, isn't he facing the Falcons, who's great against wide receivers? Yes, they are. But here's the thing. Pierce has gotten 28 targets in the past 3 weeks, and he eats against that single high coverage. And he's pulling almost a 30% target share in those looks. And now he's facing Atlanta, who runs the most single high coverage in this entire league. Pierce just dropped 115 yards on Pittsburgh in that same exact coverage. So I wouldn't wait. Go pick him up now and roll him out again this week. I'm also going Troy Franklin. He has a steady role in Denver. And even with like a quiet week 9, he saw like 27% of targets. That workload plus a Raiders defense giving up big points to perimeter receivers makes him a strong flex play this week. And I just read something before this podcast that the first 4 weeks he was only getting 18% of the first reads, and Sutton was getting 28. The last 4 weeks, Franklin's getting 28, and Sutton's only getting 19. So that's something to look at right there. Parker Washington's another one. He stepped up as Jaguars wide receiver 1 with BTJ dealing with that injury. Travis Hunter, sad, but he's on IR. And Dimey Brown is out dealing with some kind of an injury. But he's posted like 90 yards and 8 catches last week. I know Jacoby Myers just arrived, but that upside is real for Parker Washington right now because a wide receiver coming in to a new offense, they don't get a lot of work right away. It takes them a couple weeks. So I think Parker Washington will still see the volume and is a decent flex play this week. I'm also going after Christian Watson. He is trending up in the Packers offense. Week 8, I think he saw 60% of the routes. Week 9, jumped up to 75. And with Tucker Kraft out now, Matthew Golden injured, his role is only going to be growing. I'm avoiding starting him unless I have to against Philly this week. But scoop him up now because the next 2 matchups, oh my God, they're perfect against the Giants. And then you got the Vikings, and they've been giving up serious points to the perimeter receivers. So that's all I got. Not many this week. But so, Jeremy, who's your favorite out of all those? And do you have any other ones that you want to stream this week?
Yeah, let's first talk about Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin, I've been screaming his name for a month here. I mean, I was really high on Troy Franklin when coming out, and I super bought into the shower narrative of him and Bo Nix. But we're seeing that come to fruition. I really just think Sean Payton hates rookies. He's such an old school guy. We see it with RJ Harvey. Like, get that man on the field more, please. All he's doing is scoring touchdowns. Troy Franklin is another one who just couldn't get on the field last year. He's on the field and he's absolutely balling out. I think it's 10, 8, and 10 targets for Franklin over the last 3 weeks, which is amazing. And he's being utilized in the red zone as well. Evan Ingram, unfortunately, is an afterthought in that offense. But it's all going to Troy Franklin. And Sutton was shut down big last week. I mean, that's going to happen against Derek Stingley. But, Sutton will be a piece. I don't think Franklin is the one, but he's right there. So I love Troy Franklin. You mentioned Alec Pierce. I'm just a little wary of him this week. He's been great, but the Pittsburgh back end is not the Atlanta back end. I know Billy Bowman's probably still out, but Divine Diablo, I'm not sure what his status is. So I know they're injured in Atlanta, but I think Pierce could struggle a little bit, even though you mentioned the single high. It's just a better group of guys back there. That's my only concern, but he's been awesome. And then, Parker Washington, I'm totally with you on that take. I think it's him for a while. Everyone else is hurt. Brenton Strange is hurt. Diami's got the concussion. He might not play, like you said. So BTJ, who knows? Parker Washington's great. So I really like those guys. If I have to pick one more at wide receiver, I'll go Khalil Shakir. Shakir isn't, he's kind of a guy that you're wondering every single week if you should or you shouldn't flex him against Miami. I mean, I'm not afraid to play wide receivers against Storm Duck and whoever the hell else they have back there. For me, it's Minka. It's not Minka. Minka's still there, but he's a shell of himself. So for me, it's Khalil Shakir, and I do like the names you mentioned. If you do not have Troy Franklin, go get Troy Franklin right now. He's still under 60% owned for some ridiculous reason.
So I love that you brought up Shakir because he's the perfect guy that's going to get you 10 points every week. Mm-hmm. And if you need 20 points, he's still going to only get you 10. But there's a possibility of that 20. We saw it. Last week, right? So who knows? We do have a question about receivers. It said pick 2 out of this group. We got Booty. Love the Booty routes. Pearsall, Godwin, both still kind of injured. Jacoby Myers going to a different team. Shaheed, different team. Pierce, Parker Washington, and Tucker. I kind of want to go after Tucker just because he is going to be the number 1 receiver in that offense, I guess. Then Alec Pierce, just because I love those deep routes.
Yeah, I don't mind it, especially with the injuries that you mentioned. Booty's got the hammy, so he's out for a while as well. It sounded like a lot of those receivers are down bad. I don't know if you mentioned Parker Washington. I'm not sure if I heard Washington in there. I would play him. I would play him over Pierce this week, but like you said, there's not some bad. You have some decent options there to flex while you wait for the other guys to get healthy.
If you had to pick 2, it's between Pierce, Washington, and Tucker, Trey Tucker. So eliminate the other guys right now.
Yeah, and I probably lean Pierce over Tucker, but that's a lot closer than it should be this week.
Yeah, so let's just call it Parker, Washington, and Pierce. Okay. Yep. I don't think there's any other wide receiver questions.
I have one.
All right. We do have one. Trade Addison and Hunter for Diggs and Marks. No, I'm going to keep Addison and Hunter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Easy. So, Steve, what was your question?
So this was one that's come up in chats, and I think I read online, and I just want to hear you guys go with this because I honestly think this is interesting. Let's say you're in a 14-team, start 5, something a little bit exotic. Jerry Jeudy, is he droppable right now? What's your take?
I said it a week or 2 ago. I had a whole take on Jerry Jeudy being fake. No, I'm sorry. It was a real take because he had 0 targets, 0 receptions last week. And I called him real. That's what Jerry Jeudy is. You could have dropped him 2 weeks ago. He's done.
Yes, he's done until they get a new quarterback. But also, I don't think Cedric Tillman's going to do anything. The only thing that this offense can do is run through the 2 tight ends. So I know, listen, these guys are talented. I don't think Jerry Jeudy is untalented. I don't think he's phenomenal. But any sort of outside wide receiver, it's not going to work in this offense. It's the 2 tight ends. If they start moving someone into the slot, which I don't think they're going to do with Fannin, then maybe that guy's viable. But no, just stick with the tight ends and you can drop Jeudy.
Yes, agreed.
Hey, so for my defensive back segment, I'm going to do this a little different. I'm looking at the questions. They kind of line up with some of the players I was going to talk. So I'll just answer the questions and then I'll come back and talk my players. Get 2 birds with 1 stone, or what I say earlier, 1 in a hand is better than 2 in a bush. Or, if you're fancy, some 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink. Maybe we'll –
It's shocking sometimes.
Maybe we'll go that way, little humor there. But yeah, the first question we had, and these are smart questions. This one came from Skywalker. He's asking about Jair Alexander. If he doesn't work out, which, I thought he was going to be the great next thing on the Ravens. You got a point here. What if he doesn't work out? Cooper DeJean might be moved too. Should I hold on to DeJean and Witherspoon or drop any of them for Darian Porter, Jerrion Jones, Jarvis Brownlee? This is a complicated one with moving parts. Let's start with the beginning here. Cooper DeJean. Honestly, the way I play, I want to sell or trade people. I don't want to drop anything. What's the expression, Jamie? Rolling Stone gathers no moss. I want to keep moving my team and building it while you're putting the pink in the stink. I want to gather the moss here. But anyway, so see if you can trade those guys instead of just throwing them out type of thing. I want you to be careful with Cooper DeJean. I really do. First off, what they just do at the trade deadline, they just made a trade for Michael Carter of the Jets, right? What does he do? He's a slot king. That's what he does. So, we wrote this in the article 2 weeks ago, in the Safety Dance article. There is a legit chance that DeJean's slot role is in jeopardy right now. It's a legit chance. He's been playing a pretty good, healthy role, about 30 slot snaps a game, but they're also moving him out wide too. So just be careful of that. If you don't get those slot points, obviously he's going to go down in value. Between the 2, I'm taking Witherspoon if that's the question, but I probably don't want any of them. I want to trade, get multiple first-round picks because I want to build my empire, right? There are some guys on my list that people aren't even playing, and I'll throw one at you as a substitute, okay? You got Brownlee there. I like him. I'll talk about him in a second. There's a guy named Kamari Lassiter of the Texans. Yes. This dude, I have him in my 32-team league. I'm playing him as my safety. 100% of snaps every single week. I mean, just the last 3 games alone, 26 tackles, 1 interception, and nobody knows his name because he's on the other side of Stingley. And I guess that's like IDP 101. I don't want the top name. I want the guy on the other side getting picked on. So give me that name. There's so many guys like this. You mentioned Brownlee. Brownlee is like, actually, I was running him in my Kings Classic League for a while there before the injury. A lot of people are still not picked up on Brownlee, but he's another one. The Jets got him now. He's on the future being a superstar, so I would take him all day. What did he have last week? 68% of snaps is about his average. Yeah, he's good for 6-7 tackles. I know this isn't a quarterback required league podcast, but I love talking about those guys because people don't know. I'll throw one more at you. The Cardinals got a guy, Garrett Williams. He was last year's PFF darling. People like him. He's just coming back off of injury. You can probably pick him up, right? The reason I bring him up, he got 81% of snaps last week. So those are all good names you can kind of sort of just squeeze in here. So anyway, that kind of brought that. And then what was the other? Okay, here's another question I got from Harry Brooks. Should I hold on to Mustafa and Duger or drop them for Amari, I can't say that, Okada, McKinney, Reed, Stone, Trader Jr.? Believe it or not, most of those is who I was going to talk about. Let's talk Trader Jr. first. I love Trader Jr. as a prospect. He's a two-way sport player. I think he was number 10 in the world in lacrosse. But he did all these great things this week. He really did. What did he play? 34% of his snaps in the box. 67 of them were in the box, actually. 13 tackles. He had a great week, but he did it because there were two guys in front of him. So that's one of those deep stash kind of players for me. So I'd be careful with dropping anybody for trader. Geno Stone makes my list, as unsexy as that sounds, right? Geno Stone is like, in some formats, he's a top 15 defensive back right now. And I'm like, how is this possible? He misses so many tackles. It's just because he's on the field every week. Let me just read this to you. Week 5, 90%. Week 6, 100%. Week 7, 100%. Week 8, 100%. Week 9, 100%. The 99%. He doesn't get off the field. Every week he's getting between 7 and 10 tackles. These are the no-name players that you can pick up off waiver wire everywhere. Between all of this, I actually want Mustafa. Mustafa is the only one in the defensive backfield of 49ers that I trust. He's the only one I trust. He's the only one making plays. We're going to talk Duger real quick because I find this question fascinating. Duger's the ultimate mystery. I wrote about this in the article. It actually came out today, the Every Down Linebacker. I wrote this same very thought, and I want to share this with you guys. The Steelers' defense has a wrinkle in it. It just switched. All year, they were the second lowest team with 2 high safeties. They weren't really playing them all year long. Now, all of a sudden, they're throwing a lot of cover 3 at us and a lot of cover 1. Cover 3, they ran 33% more. Cover 1, 29% more per next-gen stats. They tweaked the whole thing. At first I thought it was to confuse Daniel Jones. Maybe it's just a one-day thing. No, it's not. They're actually playing and practicing in that. They moved over Jalen Ramsey as the deep safety, and they got Duger playing in the middle. So more to follow on Duggar right now because, again, we haven't seen his full – he just got there. He may be a baller again. I don't know. I don't want to give you bad advice, but if you have a roster spot, leave him on your bench. I'm starting Mustafa over all of that, though, right now. And then, of course, you got Emanawari. That's a taxi stash to me. That's another interesting one that I wrote this week as well. What we seen him play that slot role. So that's a premium role. So I guess if you wanted me to rank these, I'd go Mustafa, Emanawari, and then Duggar. And then everybody else can kind of follow suit. Stone in redraft over all of it, believe it or not. And then McKinney, you asked about Xavier McKinney. It's because he had a big week. If you look at his stats with the Packers, he's all foam and no drink. Like his plays come from like high play, sack play, interception play. That's where a lot of his stuff comes from. You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily, unless it's a big play league or a best ball league, I don't necessarily go after those kind of players. I want the tackle box kind of guys. So that's why I'm giving you that answer. I'm giving you Mustafa, Duggar, Emanawari, and then, like I said, Stone is an excellent stream. That's a great question, Harry. And like I said, it kind of encapsulates all the players that I was going to talk about for this section. You could stream defensive backs for days, but those are the ones that aren't getting any love, and I don't think we've talked much on here. But that's all I got, guys.
Can I press you on Okada? Because he's kind of the one name you didn't mention, but he's the one name I had down here because as long as Julian Love is out, he seems like he's going to get run. They've had 3 weeks here where he's been great, but of course a bye in the middle. I'm wondering if he's, as long as Love is out, if you're considering him like a DB2 or 3 kind of guy that you can plug and play. And I think he's probably still available in some shallower leagues. So he's a guy that I would probably go out and get. Do you think that he is, he's not Mustafa, but do you think that he kind of rivals these other guys in terms of the production as long as Love isn't on the field?
So I got him DB 34 on the week. So depending on your league size, it's DB 3-ish. Some of the ones I play in DB 2. You know what it is? He burned me week 6 when I like to take my shots early. I'm like Babe Ruth. I want to point at the fence, whatever. And I got that one freaking tackle. So I'm a little biased. Yeah. But you're right. For the time being, he has a role. Out of all these guys, Mustafa has a role regardless. Duggar, we just said, yeah, maybe if the scheme changed. Emanawari, well, they moved them over. Stone, yeah, but they can't. Everybody hears a yeah, but except for Mustafa. And then McKinney, McKinney is one of those I usually like to trade to other people because they're not looking at the stats. You know what I mean? But Okada, yeah, if there's none of these guys available and you have to stream a player, yeah, so be it. Go get them. I hate defensive back, Jeremy, to be honest, because like any one of these guys can get an interception. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of chasing the who's my box man, who's my tackle guy, that sort of thing. But yeah, that was most of the players. This is a sharp audience. I'm going to say, if you guys got any more questions,
yeah, I want to give a shout out to Jorge in the chat. Gave us a super chat, $5. Nice. Thank you, brother. Jorge, let's hit the strip club. When I'm done with this pod, I'm going to buy you a lap dance. But he does have a question. He wants to know thoughts on Andrew Wingard, technically a full safety, but has been tied in box snaps and the DL lineman. So what do you guys think on that for the Giants?
I brought him up. When did I get on him? What was that, like 3 episodes ago, whatever? I play Wingard a lot of places. I do. That's the reason why I didn't bring him up. But yeah, I seen the so what happened in the offseason, Jeremy, the Jaguars, they just said, screw it, we're firing all our defensive backs. And they just promoted Wingard and they promoted Eric Murray. But yeah, I've been playing him. Their secondary's not that solid, but those guys are getting play. Those guys are getting run. It confused the heck out of Patrick Mahomes when he upset him. He's like, I don't know if they're in a cover 1, cover 3, what they're doing. I love Wingard. I play him. He's one of my deeper guys that I'll take a shot at. I just don't want to keep giving the same names every week. Oh, yeah, this guy's good, that guy's good. But yeah, Wingard all day long. I'm trying to remember, where do I have him ranked? I usually put him down a little lower, Jorge, after the, that cornerback run on the ECR, when you got guys like Taron Johnson's, that stuff, because a lot of people don't know who that is. But in reality, yeah, he's a play for me. He's a DB3 for me. As always, me, I like to wait on these guys and play them. And thanks for the donation to Jamie's bail me out of jail fund.
I love that. With Wingard as well, he's someone I picked up a week or 2 ago. I'm just a little concerned about him with the big plays. He just seems to be kind of a steady producer. He's not someone that's not gonna, gonna knock it out of the park for you and win it, but he's absolutely a startable asset. Someone like, for example, a guy who fell off, who I was playing a lot last year, like a Reed Blankenship, who was kind of going to give you those steady Eddie games, but he could blow up. This year, he's totally dropped off the face of the planet in terms of production, and so I've just plugged Wingard right in. He does pretty much what I need him to do.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. Like, know your league settings. Like for our tackle premium or 1, 2, 3, I can get away with names like this. If we're in a big play scoring or like a best ball, that's the best, those big play best balls, because I'll put some guy that I'll probably never play. I rarely play a Jalen Phillips, for example, because I never know if he's going to hit a sack. I rarely play those kind of guys, but they're fun in a best ball because you get the best scoring. But yeah, these guys here that I said, they're not sexy at all. I think Mustafa has the best pedigree of them all. These are guys that you can get by, punt during the weeks, what have you. I think Jorge either invited you or threatened you, Jamie. He said, Jamie, next year in Canton, the club will be a must visit.
Yes, we'll get it. Hell yeah. So we got about 5 minutes left. We got to get Jeremy out of here because he has his little girl TikTok thing going on in 5 minutes.
It's true.
So let's just drop our tight ends real quick. Any questions in the chat? Sorry if we missed them. Drop them after the show, and I will go in and answer them personally in the feed. But I want to go Harold Fannin Jr. This guy needs to be owned in more leagues. That's going to be my future stepson. He's quietly dominant this season. He's tight end 12 in fantasy points per game with 4 tight end 1 finishes already, averaging 44 receiving yards, 17% target share, and strong efficiency. Like, his metrics are there. So Fannin is consistently involved and should continue to be producing at a high level the rest of the season. Colton Loveland, go get this guy. He's finally had his breakout in week 9, 6 catches, 100 and some yards, 2 touchdowns, almost a 20% target share. With Cole Kmet likely out again, Loveland should see full-time work, and the Giants, they've been middle of the pack first tight ends. So he's a strong tight end streamer with tight end 1 upside this week. Mason Taylor. It's gross, I know, but he's got the talent. He's been tight end 1 in 3 of the last 5 games, averaging almost 40 yards a game, 20% target share. And since week 4 with he's seen 7 red zone targets over that span. So with like a volume-driven streamer option, I think you can trust him. And then K-Dot, good streamer this week. This is my flight plan. Since week 5, he's getting a 19% target share. He's averaging almost 60 yards a game and gets the Patriots, who allows the 10th most points to tight ends. That's a perfect quick plug and play this week. And then Theo Johnson, he's been steady since week 4, sitting at, I think, I want to say tight end 11, 12. He's getting almost a 20% target share. Week 9 versus Niners, he caught a touchdown. And with Jackson Dart playing well, Theo is getting those red zone looks. So you want those red zone looks. He is a reliable streamer with tight end upside with those touchdowns. So any of those stick out to you, Jeremy? Would you trust playing them, or is there someone I'm missing? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I love those names. Harold Fannin leads the pack for me of those guys. But you could also throw David Njoku in there. The offense runs through both of these guys, and Njoku is, you don't know who's going to score the touchdown. They both might score the touchdown if Dylan Gabriel is dealing, which he's done a couple of times this season, at least to those guys. So I really like Fannin this week. He's my tight end 8. And then Colston Loveland, if there's no Cole Kmet, you got to go back to the well with him. I think he's a worthy flex play even. He's not going to do what he did. They played Cincinnati. Caleb Williams went off. That's not going to happen every week. But Colston Loveland can still find the end zone. He can still get you a floor 4 to 5 receptions and about 50 yards. And especially if Cole Kmet is out, he's super safe as well. And then you mentioned Mason Taylor. You got to love Mason Taylor, especially with no Garrett Wilson. If Garrett Wilson plays, it's actually better for him. But even if he doesn't, he's kind of the only game in town there. They have to use both backs in the passing game. And the Jets are going to get crushed each and every single week, especially giving away their best defensive players. The heart and soul of that team is gone. They're going to give up 30+ points a week. They're going to have to chuck the ball.
Mr. Asian was asking. You can answer. We'll put it in the chat. You can find my handle, IDP Hunter, on Twitter. Message me directly if I didn't get it here. We'll try to put them in the chat. I just want to thank everybody who was a part of this. And then also, if you guys can go around, just tell the audience where they can find you.
I want to say easy. Go get a Buka. Give up Chase Brown. Yes. You can find me right here every week. And you can find me in the FF Universe chats every single time they go live. Jeremy.
Listen, we are trying to be live every single day. I'm going to leave here and go live on TikTok. Myself, Jesse Moeller are running the TikTok streets live every day. We're doing pre-games. We're doing start-sit stuffs. I have a show, Adjust the Ranks, with Ryan Prostick as well. Those are tomorrow night, so those are Thursdays. We go through our ranking process for Fantasy Pros and talk to you about each of the guys in the games. But, of course, the Fantasy Football Universe isn't just redraft. It's Dynasty. That's Dynasty Dogs. Rich and Mike are 1, 2, 3 times a week and in the shows with us. And of course, Essie Romero, Spencer Buckley, handling those Devi streets, which I'm still trying to learn, but we've got everything for you. We're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube. So join us, find us, and appreciate you guys having me on.
Appreciate you, man. And I'm going to go on TikTok right now, and I'm going to follow your show, and I'm going to join the chat.
And for those that don't know what TikTok is, that's that little little page where the little kids dance, right, Jamie?
Yes, the 14-year-old
steals all your data. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
All right. Talk hard, everybody. Thanks for coming on the show. Talk hard.
Peace out.